Hey guys, welcome back to Just Talking Around. And today we got another episode with Pat Coughlin.
What's up, guys?
All right, Pat, how you been?
I've been all right, Finished up my last day of high school was last Friday, so I'm pretty
Oh,
stoked
sweet.
about that. Summer just started, so it's pretty good right now. Not too bad.
What you been up to?
Well, my pool just opened up, so I'm
Always
looking
good.
forward to using that a lot more.
Yeah.
The beaches are hopefully going to open up. I think. Well, are Massachusetts beaches open already?
I don't know. I've seen some people. They've been going to the beach. I don't know if they're going to another state or something. I'm not really too sure on the rules, but
I know New Hampshire isn't open yet, but I think Massachusetts are open first.
I think which is weird because New Hampshire opened up before us, but
it makes no sense.
Yeah. So, you watch any of the match on Sunday?
Yeah, I did. I mean, there's not a whole lot else to do right now. That was awesome. I mean,
yeah, that was such a cool moment.
Yeah, I know. Just the trash talk between Manning, Brady, and Mickelson. They were just going at
Charles
each other.
Barkley too.
Oh my God. I wish Charles Barkley and Tom Brady should have like a boxing match against each other, like a rough and rowdy kind of thing. That would be so funny. They were going at it the whole time.
Yeah, there was like a free version of Rough and Rowdy on YouTube the other day, and I just tuned in. I think it was like a really old episode. I think it was from like 2018 or 19 or something like that. But I was watching it. It was pretty cool. I've never seen one of those before.
It's literally just like they just pick two people up and are like, fight. They have no idea what they're doing, and it's something else. Yeah.
But pretty much for people who didn't watch the match, it was Tom Brady and Phil Mickelson. For people who don't know, Phil Mickelson is a professional golfer versus Peyton Manning and Tiger Woods. And so you basically have Tom Brady, who's the greatest of all time in football, and Tiger Woods, who's most people would say the greatest of all time in golf. I'd say that, but yeah. So that was pretty cool. There was a lot of fun moments, and they raised a lot of money for charity, which was.
I saw. I don't know if this is true or not. You might have to fact check me on this one, but it was like the most watched golf event ever in television history.
Really?
I don't know if you. I'm gonna look that up. Hold on.
Because more than the Masters would really surprise me, but.
Yeah. But I mean, there's nothing else really to watch.
Yeah, it's true.
CNN says match 2 is the most watched golf telecast in the history of cable television.
Wow. Oh, so is cable television different than network television, though?
I'm not sure. I'm not going to lie.
I think I remember hearing that. That, compared to the Masters, it wasn't there, but it still was highly watched.
I mean, this is I don't watch golf. This is I mean, there's not a whole lot else going on, so I'll take any competition going on.
I think the last time I watched golf before this was the last Masters when Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I watched the last 3 holes.
Because I wanted to watch him win, but it was I didn't watch the whole thing at all. I only watched the end.
Yeah, golf's just not really for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of expected Tiger and Peyton to win anyways because, obviously Tiger's better than Mickelson, and Peyton Manning has a lot more time to golf than Tom Brady does.
Brady was brutal at the start. He
had a tough start.
He was horrific at the start. And then he had that one good shot. And I think it was Barstool.
And then he ripped his pants.
Barstool Big Cat was like, well, Tom Brady just had the same moment that all of us have on the golf course, where you play terrible and you hate golf, and then you have one good shot at the end and you want to go pro. Which, I mean, that sounds like a normal day at golf for most people. Whenever someone tells me, it's I had one good shot, I'm going pro.
I never golfed on a real course. I've done pitch and putt before, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I've done that one time, and then the rest I've only done mini golf. So it's
I can't remember the last time I did golf. I mini golfed, obviously, but
yeah,
cannot remember the last time I actually played on a real course, even a driving range. Never did it. I also found out that when I did play golf as a kid, I was a righty, but I found out later on that I'm actually better as a lefty. at golf, which I didn't know until like 2 years ago. So.
So when you play hockey, do you swing lefty or
I'm
righty?
a left.
Lefty.
Yeah. I don't play hockey, but when I do,
if you were to pick up a stick, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So for baseball, you do the same thing? Swing lefty.
Yeah, as a kid, I hit righty, though. That's probably why I was so terrible.
That's hilarious.
I hit 1 home run righty. I mean, I guess I'm a switch hitter, though. So.
Speaking of hockey, the NHL had some major announcements today. So as my hockey correspondent of the Just Tucking Around podcast, I'd love to hear your take.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is honestly, like, the actual format itself, like, we'll get to that in a second. But, like, I think this is great for the NHL. Like, the fact that they're getting, like, ahead of the curve when it comes to, like, announcing, like, when they're coming back, you know. I think that's great because we all know the NHL is not very popular in America. It's probably the least popular out of the 4 major sports.
Right.
But I think this is great for it. You know, people are going to be tuning in. They're going to be itching for something. So I think it's great for the NHL in that case.
I think this has the potential to be like kind of what we get from March Madness, where even non basketball fans or like somewhat like Pink Hat fans, as maybe someone would say, but like I'm not like, I love basketball, but I'm more of an NBA guy. And then like, and my favorite college basketball team is Duke, but like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch every single Duke game. But
I can't remember the last time I watched.
I'm watching all that. I'm watching all the college basketball games when March Madness comes around, and we didn't get that. And I think that, like, especially just from like jumping on the bandwagon for like high school hockey when the playoffs come around, I think this has the potential to be like that, where it just creates that excitement where people who don't even watch a sport are going to want to watch this.
Yeah, so basically what they're doing, for those of you guys who don't know, is so the NHL is 31 teams. I know it's kind of an odd number. They're going to have 32 in, I think, 2 years when Seattle gets a team. But anyways, so the way it works is the bottom 7 teams based on points percentage, which in the NHL, if you don't know, it's based off of points. So you get 2 points for a win, 1 point for an overtime or shootout loss, which is ridiculous, and then 0 points for a regulation loss. So based on points percentage, the bottom 7 teams, their seasons are done. So they are not playing anymore. They're just, I mean.
So they completely did away with the regular season.
Yeah, the regular season's done. So all the like scoring awards, like Leon Draisaitl won the Art Ross, which goes to the leading scorer in the league. David Pastrnak, who's a Bruin, tied for the most goals in the league with Alex Ovechkin. So he's going to be receiving the Rocket Richard, which goes to the player with the most goals. And Tuukka Rask and Yaroslav Halak are going to get the Jennings Trophy for the best goals against average in the NHL. And the Bruins win the President's Trophy, which doesn't matter because that trophy's a joke.
Yeah.
But anyways, so those 7 teams are out, and
the 24 teams make the playoffs.
24 teams are in the playoffs. There's 12 from each conference. So as you see right there, the top 4 seeds, Boston was the number 1 team in the East, then Tampa Bay, Washington, Philly. And in the West, it's St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, and Dallas. So they have a bye in the first round. They're not technically calling the first round. You see, it's called the play-in round. So it's technically not the playoffs, actually. Okay. So basically, you see the play-in rounds. They're going to play – it looks like they're going to play a best of 5, which I think that's smart because you don't want to play a full 7 games.
Right.
You want to get to the playoffs as quickly as possible. So I think that's
yeah, definitely. Do they know when this would be happening? Would it be like a July thing?
It looks like August is when it's going to start, I think. Late August, September. Mm-hmm. But while the play-in round is going on, the top 4 seeds are going to play a round robin, and that's going to determine what the 1 through 4 seeds are. So the Bruins are the number 1 seed right now in the NHL. Like, they're the best team in the NHL and number 1 in the Eastern Conference. They could drop down to the 4th seed in the East if they don't play well in the play-in games, which is kind of where I have my gripes with it because I think that's kind of ridiculous that you're throwing away the regular season for the top 4 teams. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but
yeah.
I mean, at this point, I'm just happy that sports.
Because the Bruins, they're the number 1 seed in the league, right?
Yeah. Yep. They had the most points this year. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, all four of those. I mean, maybe not Washington, but I think Tampa Bay and Philadelphia are probably the two teams who have a chance to beat the Bruins. And yeah, so I'm not sure. They also were talking about the draft lottery, which if you don't know in the NHL draft lottery is ridiculous. Like last year, I think not one of the bottom three teams in the league got one of the lotteries. So they were, I think the worst team in the league picked fourth overall.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's like the NHL lottery system is, if they do it to discourage tanking, which I can understand,
Right.
but like at the same time, it's like a little ridiculous when like the 11th best team in the league is like getting the second pick.
Right.
So they announced a bunch of stuff about the draft lottery. I don't really care, to be honest. You know, the Bruins have no shot at the number one pick, so
Right.
I don't care.
So we also have basketball coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, according to Brian Windhorst, who is LeBron James's reporter of choice, he's been very close to LeBron and stuff. And apparently this is coming out of the NBA Players Association. The players want to play. And that's unlike the MLB, where the players in the MLB are kind of more hesitant.
I don't know what the hell is going on with the MLB, man.
Yeah, Blake. Do you see the stuff with Blake Snell?
Yeah, that's. I mean, you know, he spoke his opinion, which you got to respect. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it is about his safety. So I mean, you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's different. Like maybe he has some underlying thing that he's afraid of. Like we really don't know. And then, but a lot of people were saying, just please shut up and please play baseball for us. But
it's fair, you know, whatever.
Yeah. But we have the NBA coming back, and one of the proposals is that they would do these at the ESPN Worldwide Sports, Worldwide World of Sports, and that's in Disneyland.
Disney World.
Disney World's down in Florida, in Orlando. And so they would also do
that's one thing I forgot to mention, the NHL.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the NHL, they're currently deciding for hub cities, which so the NBA, their hub city looks like is going to be Orlando.
Right.
So they're all going to play in Orlando. And the NHL is going to have two hub cities. They're not deciding.
Canada, right?
They're not sure yet. So the Eastern Conference is going to be one hub city and the Western Conference is going to be another. I've seen Toronto, Vancouver, and Edmonton are the Canadian ones. And then Vegas, like Pittsburgh, a bunch of places in America. Hold on, let me.
They should do Vegas. I feel like
that would be cool.
Sick.
The only problem is that Vegas is in the playoffs.
Okay.
But there would be no fans, so I mean, I guess it wouldn't be that bad. But
I feel like Vegas would be a lot. Well, you know, you're gonna have no fans anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter.
That's the thing. I think they should have one fan for each team in the stadium.
Just show
on
them.
Each side. Just have one fan on each side, just yelling. That would be hilarious. But yeah, here are the hub cities right here: Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Vegas, LA, Minneapolis, Pittsburgh, and then Edmonton, Toronto, Vancouver. But the thing is, like, the NBA, like, they have a lot more flexibility when it comes to these hub cities because, like, me and you, if we wanted to, we could just go outside and just go play basketball right now, you know? Just all we need is a hoop and a ball, and, like, you know, if you wanted to get official, you could, like, you know, find a basketball court. They're very easy to find. The NHL, ice rinks aren't very easy to find.
Right.
Especially in certain, like, cities. So, like Boston has a lot of hockey rinks right now, but, I mean, they can't have it in Boston, you know? Numbers are very, very high here, so –
it's just, so you need to have like some sort of complex that is capable. Wait, would they want to do multiple games at once, or is it just like a tournament style where one team finishes and the next one comes on like right after?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if because they haven't picked the hub cities yet, so I think that would be something they would have to kind of. That's something they're gonna like look when they're picking the cities. Like
maybe is there any place like maybe Vancouver or something? I know they hosted an Olympics, so maybe a place that had held an Olympics would be able to do something like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like Toronto has a ton of, I mean, obviously all the Canadian cities have a ton of ice rinks around. Like hockey's so big up there. And even Minneapolis, like Minneapolis that's the state of hockey right there in Minnesota. So that would be a good spot. I mean, it's like NBA, like you could play it. Like what I mean by that is like you could play in the NBA like outside, whatever.
And there's a lot of places that have a lot of basketball courts inside. There's a lot.
Like we just saw in the Last Dance documentary when Michael Jordan was building Space Jam, they built a basketball like area just for him to play and practice while he was on set. Like, could you do that for the NHL? I mean, maybe, but it would cost a lot of money. So
maintaining ice is a lot harder than just laying down a wooden floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough.
It's part of what makes basketball so accessible for so many people.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, and that's what makes hockey so inaccessible for a lot of people. The amount of gear, getting ice, it's tough, and that's why basketball is so popular. Just like soccer, doesn't take a lot to play.
Right. And then, that probably is a huge reason to why it's just not as many people are into it. It's because a lot of people just don't have the opportunity to like play something like that just because of how hard it is to find that.
There's a reason the minority number that plays basketball is so high, and then hockey is way down there.
Right. So for the NBA, this is the proposed playoff thing that they're talking about. And so basically, the Celtics.
Are they going to go right into the playoffs too?
So they don't know. They haven't said that yet, but I'm assuming that's what everyone wants, besides the teams that are like just getting edged out.
Yeah.
Because I'd assume that the teams that are out and want to tank, they probably just don't even want to.
Oh, they're not doing it by conference. They're just doing it at 16. Oh, that's records. Okay, good.
That makes it way. So you could have a Lakers and Clippers finals, which would be sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
I like that.
So we match it. The Celtics would match up with the 76ers in the first round, which would be.
That's a great matchup.
That'd be great. But I think it's probably the toughest among most. I mean, for like out of all the teams that in like our top caliber, like the 5th seed, we kind of get screwed that the Sixers are right there at 12.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's no completely 100% fair way to do this.
Right.
Like, obviously, like the Bruins are getting completely screwed out of the number 1 seed in the NHL.
Right.
Just like in this one, like the Celtics arguably have the toughest matchup, even though they're the 5 seed.
That's crazy how the top 4 teams are going to play for seeding in the NHL.
I like that, though, just so they're playing games and they're not sitting around.
Waiting for the other teams to get in. Yeah,
but like, all you need is a hot goalie. And
Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's going to be like a totally different game.
Like hockey playoffs are so unpredictable. Like anyways, like last year, like not a single division winner won in the first round. They were all gone by the second round. Like that's crazy. And the
thing with the NBA is you have players who are like, oh, I'm taking the season off because, I don't want to risk re-injuring or something. Like Kyrie Irving and KD were supposed to take this whole season off pretty much. I mean, Kyrie did play, and then he was like, oh, I'm done. So
can Kyrie play?
I think there's a possibility where they could just say, if we're just playing 16 games, I'll come back for 16 games in the middle of the summer. Like I'd be doing a summer league anyways. I might as well do the playoffs. So if you can get like the Lakers versus Kyrie and KD in the first round, that'd be ridiculous. That'd be such an insane first round.
I mean,
that's
one of the reasons why I don't like the NBA though. Like players just decide to just like stop playing.
Like, but then you see what happens with like when Kawhi Leonard did that, he did that, and then he ended up like pretty much demanding a trade, and he got sent to Toronto. And when he came back, he was completely healthy, and I don't know. Yeah, so like I can see why. Like you see like with other players who like have an injury, and then it takes like so long. Like even Gordon Hayward, like even he might have rushed.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, Don't get me wrong. Like guys get injured, like I get it. Like if you're injured, like that's one thing. But guys
that just injury stuff is probably where
guys that just take nights off just to not get injured.
Right.
Why? Like why are you not playing? Like I get if it's the end of the season, like it's game like 80 or 81, and you're just like all right,
You're
we're
already
going
a
to the
lock in the
playoffs.
playoffs.
It's like the Celtics playing like
The Magic or something.
Knicks or some terrible
Knicks,
team.
right.
And it's just like, okay, like Kemba, Tatum, like you guys can take the night off. That makes sense to me. But guys taking off games like during the season, like when they're still like, trying to like get into the, get their playoff position sorted out. I don't get that at
Even
all.
if they got rid of like the healthy scratch thing, like the load management, I think they called it, they might have even done that. They just say like they'll just put in like knee injury.
I remember the Spurs a few years ago got in a lot of trouble for not playing Tim Duncan, Tony Parker.
Yeah.
I think Manu Ginobili. I forget. I think
Popovich was kind of ahead of the curve with that.
I think it was against like a national. I think it was like a nationally televised game, and that's why so much scrutiny was put on it because they sat them out and like it's like a sold out crowd and like millions of people watching, and they're watching.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue that they've been dealing with now for some years, and I don't know if there's a real solution to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, even LeBron is like he's playing more games now than he did like 2 years ago. Like last season with the Lakers, when his team they didn't even make the playoffs, he played all 82 games.
I also think that he has a lot more help now than he did in his last couple years in Cleveland.
Definitely.
Like
his team's but this is the best team he's had since
this is the best team he's had since probably the Heat.
Yeah, probably.
I would put this team above the Cavs team that won the finals.
So too. Yeah, definitely. I think I would too. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, those Heat teams were insane. And this team is ridiculous too. I mean,
yeah.
So I think it makes sense that LeBron is playing more games because he's getting the ball less, which isn't a bad thing for him.
Yeah, he's not a one-man team anymore.
Exactly. Like it's not like when I say getting the ball less, that's not like, oh, he's like playing bad, let's give it to the other guys. Like, no, he has help.
Right.
Which is good. It's good. It allows him to have less wear and tear on the body. So I don't have a problem. I think that's good that LeBron is able to play because, like, since he's so good, like, to get to see him play more.
Right. Man, I just can't wait for sports to come back.
Hey, have you been watching Bundesliga? That's been on.
What is this?
It's German soccer.
Oh, okay.
I actually like watching soccer. I like watching the Premier League. Mm-hmm. I don't have like a favorite Bundesliga team because I don't really like follow it that much other than this.
Right.
But I like watching soccer. I think it's cool. I think it sucks there's no fans because I think that's one. Soccer fans are the best fans.
Bro, yeah. I was just about to say their fans are
nuts. It's like going to like a big college football game.
Yeah.
But it's a professional soccer team. There's 100,000 people in the stadium all chanting, wearing like these colors. It's so cool.
Yeah, everything's in like they know what to say like at all times. Like they have like all the same chants. It's like a group of high school kids, but in the entire stadium.
Yeah, it's a 100,000 person student section. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. That'd be such a cool atmosphere to go to, but I heard sometimes they get a little dangerous.
Oh yeah. I mean, they don't care,
Yeah.
The drinking age over there is like 13 years old, so.
There's a lot of news going on in the podcast area, so I guess I kind of hopped in the podcast space at the right time because Joe Rogan just signed an enormous deal with Spotify.
I mean, do they know how much he made yet? Has that come out yet?
So the rumor is 100 million plus incentives, which could bring him up to 200 million over 3 or 4 years, which is ridiculous. I mean, he's been doing it for 11 years or something like that. No. He's got a ton of episodes. I think he's at like 1,200 episodes, maybe 1,500 episodes.
Yeah, he's easily the most famous podcaster in the world.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I've seen a lot of people get angry, that it's moving exclusively to Spotify.
Yeah, so
and I can understand that,
So what the deal entails, I guess, is he still owns his IP, which is huge. And
that's good,
that's something that I'm going to bring up later. Owning the IP is something that is a topic of discussion right now. So Joe Rogan,
some foreshadowing.
Joe Rogan kind of gets the deal that some other podcasters wish they could have, and so he gets to keep the IP. And so like after his contract, he could just say, "I'm going back to all platforms, or I'm going to switch to an Apple exclusive. I can switch to some other exclusive. I can re-up with Spotify and get even more money." Like he can do, let's say his numbers go down because honestly, I don't think his numbers are going to go down. If anything, well, maybe they'll go down a little bit. I don't know. It really changed because
I don't think he cares. He's making bank.
You can still listen to Spotify without paying for it.
Exactly.
Podcasts.
So that's what I've been seeing a lot on Twitter. People are like, I don't want to have to pay $10. Well,
you don't have to.
Spotify is free podcast. Like I think Spotify
they'll just add ads, right? They just put ads in.
So I pay for Spotify, so I don't know if they have ads in them if you're not paying, but I don't think they will.
I don't for podcasts, I don't think they do. For music, I think they do.
Music does. Free Spotify has ads for music, but I don't think they would for podcasts. And even if they would, it's like a 30-second ad, and I doubt they'd put them in the middle because most podcasts already have ads in them.
Right.
So I doubt they would even like consider doing that.
So does Spotify? Are they gonna I think they're adding the video aspect to it too.
That's another thing I saw. So they said like the video rights are going to Spotify, which I was kind of thinking like, wait, what? Because Spotify has almost nothing to do with like music videos or like, I have seen that there are a few podcasts, or maybe it's just one that is testing video podcasts with.
Yeah, I heard that.
I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if I'd really like, I when I listened to Joe Rogan, I would have the YouTube playing, but I would never really like watch. Like, personally, I would just like, if I was on my laptop or my phone, I would always be doing something else. Or if it was on my phone, I'd just like put it in my pocket.
He can't put, so part of the deal is it says he can't put the full length episodes into YouTube, but he can put the clips. So he's allowed like a certain amount of clips or something like that. So like that I think is supposed to like kind of like what it does now. It's just like you see a clip on like your recommended or whatever, your homepage or trending or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then that will probably, if you want, you could then go to Spotify to watch the whole thing, and they'll probably just have a link right to it anyways, right underneath. So if you want, so people who like wouldn't know where to find it, like they could just find it pretty easily.
That's a big loss for Apple Podcasts. Like,
huge loss for Apple.
That's because they were the number one. I mean, and I also saw Spotify's
legitimizing itself right now by doing this.
Yeah,
Spotify. If you want to listen to the number one podcast, you have to get Spotify.
Mm-hmm. And Spotify said that Joe Rogan's podcast was, I don't know if it was the most searched for podcast, but it was one of the most searched for podcasts on Spotify.
And they wasn't
even on Spotify. So that just goes to show you how popular he is. Like, he's not even on Spotify, and people are just constantly checking. Like I know I did. Like, I'm definitely one of those people who was, when they were trying to listen to Joe Rogan, was looking in Spotify, and I typed in Joe Rogan experience, and nothing popped up. And I was like,
which is weird. I don't know why he wasn't on there before.
I don't know if he had some deal or something like that, but he had it on a bunch of other stuff. And I think Spotify was kind of late coming. Like, Spotify's kind of new in podcasts. So I think that's why, like, when he just was like, all right, I don't need to put it on Spotify. Like, I have all these other platforms I can put it on.
Yeah. I think the most important thing is to try to diversify early. And then if you can get a deal like that, you take it, unless you're getting screwed.
I mean, he secured
the bag. To the next topic, which is the Call Her Daddy podcast. Talk about getting screwed.
Man.
They have some major issues.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you might know about this more than I do. Could you explain for the people at home?
Yeah, so I knew what Call Her Daddy was before all this, but I had never listened to an episode before. Like, I knew what they were about.
It's more of like a girly podcast.
They were like a sex podcast, and they were very like X-rated or whatever.
Right.
Like, they were pretty raunchy. So at first I was hearing that both of them were like, because there weren't a whole lot of details going around, and what I was hearing was that both of them were trying to like trying to leave Barstool, and like, so that I heard about that about like 2 months ago.
So before the Barstool signed them, they were like not on the map though, right? It's not like they were already a huge podcast. So Barstool kind of made them what they are.
Barstool got them very early when they were like they hadn't made a ton of episodes yet, and then they blew up. They were one of the most popular podcasts. Yeah. So apparently, for those of you who don't know, I listened to the Dave Portnoy episode. I watched the YouTube video that Alex Cooper made, and apparently what happened was Dave Portnoy offered them like the sun and the moon, like an incredible deal that they would have been idiots to pass up on, and they passed on it. And so both girls at the time were still like fighting together to get a good deal. And I think after that meeting was when the Alex, their names are Alex and Sophia. Alex came to Dave and said, I know how good of a deal that is. Because they were offering them the IP, which we talked about earlier, which is like the Call Her Daddy brand.
Yeah. So like if they wanted to leave Barstool, they could still post to the same channel.
Yeah.
They could post the same channel, they could own the name, they can own everything and just move it somewhere else.
Exactly, yeah.
Barstool still had ownership of the IP.
Yep.
In some contracts, I don't even know if you're allowed to just start a new podcast. Like, I think
Barstool owns the IP of just about every podcast on the network. Like, Pardon My Take, their biggest sports podcast, they own the IP for it.
Right.
So, like, if the PFT and Big Cat left, like, they couldn't just make a Pardon My Take without Barstool.
Right.
So, anyways, that deal, it was like, I forget how much they're getting. They were going to get paid so much money. I forget exactly. I think it was $500,000 plus bonuses for the episodes. And so Alex realized how good of a deal it was. And she said, Sophia.
And they took 6 months off the deal too, right? So like they could get out even sooner.
So it was supposed to be for 18 months. They cut it down to 12. And Alex said that Sophia's new boyfriend, Glenn Quagmire from HBO, he doesn't like Barstool.
He's the guy they call him Soup Man, right?
Yeah, that's Soup Man.
He's an executive at HBO.
If you've ever type in right now, put it on the screen, look up his interview with, I think, Forbes. I think it's like a 40 under 40.
What's his name?
Like an interview with him, Peter Nelson. It's pretty tough to watch. He's from Massachusetts, but he's from Newton, so he's like a.
So he doesn't count.
But yeah. So
look at this guy.
So Sophia's dating him, and he wants to screw over Barstool. He like brainwashed her to not want to work with Barstool anymore. So now, Alex is planning on. Actually, it's today Wednesday. Oh, today's Tuesday. So tomorrow, the first Call Her Daddy episode in like 2 months is going to drop, but it's just going to be Alex. Sophia is no longer part of Call Her Daddy.
Okay.
And the whole fight was over like IP, like having rights to the podcast, like when their contract was going to expire. It was just a lot of like business crap. And
so that's them.
There he is,
Sophia
right there.
With him. And that's that guy, Peter Nelson, who basically was chirping in the ear saying you should get a better deal for yourself, all this stuff. And basically,
it was the devil on the shoulder telling her to screw over Barstool. I don't really.
Which is funny because isn't the whole podcast like a lot about like female liberation?
That's the ironic part. That's the ironic part.
Advice and kind of screws over her whole business.
They were like, the whole thing was like, it's just like talking about like how like females like not letting like men like tell them what to do, like boss them around, and then their friendship is destroyed over a male.
Yeah. So these two, Alex and Sophia, they're not even friendly anymore.
No, they're not friends.
Yeah.
They haven't.
I can see that.
In a month.
I mean, they're messing with that money.
I've just started following this, and it's hilarious. And every video that Dave Portnoy retweets of like WWE or like Game of Thrones, and it's like their faces put on it. It's
I've seen those.
Absolutely hilarious.
Those
he comes out a winner in every situation. It's insane.
Yeah. Dave Portnoy came out a winner in that Goodell sweepstakes, so now he's gonna watch a game in Goodell's basement with him. And he wants to watch the whole thing like with cameras on, but I don't think Goodell's going to allow that. I don't think we'll see the footage.
This is insane.
So Goodell could do two things. He could be a dick about it and make us hate him even more and say, you know what, I don't think he can cancel because like they did the money. Like,
the money's in.
Yeah, so the money's in. So he has.
It's not even going to him. It's going to a charity.
Right. Yeah, right. So he has to do it. So he has to do it. So
Yeah.
he could either be a dick about it and say that like, oh, no cameras, no nothing, like we're just gonna do this, and like you can talk about it after, but like, and then he could just like be the most like, or he could make it an event and make people like him even more, and just like let it all happen
How the NFL
wait, but he'd have to make sure he doesn't get himself embarrassed
how
because
the NFL
Dave's gonna
allowed
grill him.
Dave Portnoy to even place a single bid on that
Well,
auction.
I heard that Dave said that he was like, hey, like he called like someone in the higher ups in the NFL and was like, hey, like I'm in the lead to win this thing. If you want someone else to win this, like tell them to bid right now because it's gonna be me. If you don't want this to happen, like you can change this. You can have someone bid, and they just didn't do it.
I mean, he put, what was it?
A quarter million,
$250,000?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough to pass. That's tough to beat. But, I mean, of course, like, I can't wait to see the content that comes out of that. I think I'm going to come out of this hating Roger Goodell more, personally.
Yeah, I think
Roger Goodell is going to try to be the cool kid who's like, hey, you want to have some, like, M&Ms or whatever? Or, like, want to sit in my comfy chair that I watch? Like he was during the draft when he was just the worst person ever. He's like, this is where all the fans boo me. Like, he's the worst.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him, like...
He's the most unlikable.
I cannot imagine him sitting at a bar watching an NFL game with, like, his buddies. If he has any.
Yeah, I know, literally. And then Adam Silver is probably the most well-liked commissioner in sports too. Like the NBA just has a better with like relationships with players and coaches,
Not with
like
China.
all that. Not with China. Although I don't think any sport other than the NBA really has.
The NHL has a decent relationship with China, believe it
really?
or not. Yeah.
Do they have hockey over there?
I think they do. So in the KHL, the Russian Hockey League, there's a team in Beijing.
Oh, wow.
And the reason that I think the reason they're having it there is because China is hosting the 2022 Olympics, I think.
Those are winter.
And yeah, so
they want to have a team?
The host team has to have a team.
Oh, okay.
Like in 2018, North and South Korea shared a hockey team. And it was like the first time, like, I think in every sport, actually, it was North and South Korea. I might be wrong on that, but
right.
Like there was like a unified Korean team for hockey, and China wants to kind of not get completely embarrassed by whoever's going to be over there. Like the NHL probably not going to be there, which sucks, but
yeah,
it's all business.
That's really interesting. Hold on, I think my dog wants to come in.
Oh boy, Bailey. Woody or Bailey?
Guess not. He must have walked away.
Never mind. Was it Woody or Bailey that wanted to come in?
I don't know. I just heard like scratching outside, and I thought
relationship with China. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think the Bruins and the Flames were gonna play a preseason game in China. It's canceled now, but I think at the beginning of what was supposed to be next season, they were gonna play an exhibition game in China.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, obviously hockey's not the most popular sport in China, but
it's good that they're trying to grow though.
Yeah, I mean, they need to get better at marketing, but
there's a couple things I want to show you before we leave. Because I think we're around 40 minutes now, but it's this video of a bear opening.
I didn't see. I haven't seen this yet, so.
Yeah, I've seen it on Twitter and stuff. So hold on, let me share that. Okay, here we go. So.
Bear opens car door.
Welcome back to the car.
Jeez, that thing is a mutant.
They're screaming at it. It opens the door, bro.
That bear is. Wow, that thing is smart.
It looks like a human in a bear suit.
That thing might know what the vaccine is for the coronavirus.
Lion opens car?
That thing looks smart.
Whoa.
Oh, they're in the car. That's not safe. Oh, that's a big boy. Or girl.
Whoa.
Music.
Did not
I,
expect that.
I want to know what happened to those people. Like, did the lion just be like, "Oh, sorry"?
Did it just open it with his mouth? How did that happen?
Yeah. Sorry to
Oh my
disturb
God.
you. Sorry. Let you finish.
What else has been going viral? Have you seen the video of that woman in the park that called the cops? That Karen that called the cops that was choking her dog.
Yeah, I saw that, but I'm also hearing things that the people who were recording the video were antagonizing her before the video. I don't know how much of that. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah,
That's just what I've heard. You never know. Like,
you never know.
I mean, obviously, like, it's tough to put things into context. You know, who knows about what she was doing, but like,
she made it sound like it was just one dude there.
Yeah. So who knows?
He was just walking through. The way he made it, the way he portrayed it in the video was just he was walking through the park and this lady just had her dog loose.
I mean, yeah, of course.
And then he was like, "Hey, can you just put the dog on a leash?" And she was like, but then she starts saying, "Oh, I'm feeling like you threatened me and my dog," which we didn't see on video.
Yeah.
Did he really threaten her and the dog? I don't know. I mean,
it's tough to know. It made for a pretty entertaining video.
Yeah, I mean, I hope from what it seems like, no one got hurt. He didn't get hurt. She didn't get hurt. The dog looks like it was actually getting choked.
Did you see the video of the Karen who was yelling at those kids who were like skateboarding on the stairs? Did you see that one?
No.
Because I am completely on Karen's side in that one.
Which one?
It's like these.
Is this new?
Like, yeah, so it's these kids that are like skateboarding on some stairs, and they're giving it to this woman who's just trying to do her job, and this kid does a sick. I don't know how a human does this. It looked like Tony Hawk. Like he went down 15 stairs. Like just.
Is it one of these?
I don't even know how to describe it. No, it's none of these.
I watched a Danny Duncan video recently, and the same thing basically happens. They were just like at some random apartment complex that they don't live at, and the woman that lives there was like, "Hey, like you guys got to leave. I'm gonna call the cops." And they were just being a dick to her. It was actually kind of funny, but I think they left before she actually called the cops. But he's like, I don't know if you watch Danny Duncan at all, but he does this stuff where like he'll just make up lies, blatant to their faces. My dad's a cop. My dad will have you arrested. Like just like he's pissed her off so much. Like he pushed her over the edge.
He's playing the "my dad's a lawyer" card.
Yeah.
He's doing it ironically.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty funny.
And like he'll just look at the camera and be like like every time.
I haven't watched Danny Duncan in a while. I used to when I was a little younger, but I don't know. I don't watch too much YouTube anymore. But he was a good one.
Let's see. Bailey just came in.
Oh boy.
There he is.
Oh, what's up, Bailey? Oh geez, he's a big boy.
Yeah, Woody's getting pretty big too.
How much does Woody have to grow?
So boxers, I guess, grow like later than most dogs. So like they won't actually like be done growing until like 2 years old, and Woody's only like 10 or 11 months right now. So like they'll gain weight, and then they'll start to like.
Is Cujo, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, so he's gonna be a big boy. He's gonna be a big boy. And when we first brought him to the vet, when he was a puppy, the vet was like, "This is gonna be a big boxer." So they usually span between like 65 to like 85 pounds, maybe even more. So I'm hoping he gets up to like 85. That'd be sick. Bailey's only 65, but right now Woody's 60.
Teddy's all done grown. He's a small pupper.
He's a little boy.
Yeah, but I think Bailey's about 7 times his size. Of a dog.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of fun having dogs. It's just yeah, it's a lot of work at first, and then they get pretty easy.
Yeah, the first 2 months of having a dog are easily the worst parts. Like your dog is just like shitting all over the house.
Yeah,
and it's like, dude, No.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that.
They
And
have
then-
small bladders and small bowels.
yeah, but once they learn, it gets a lot easier. The first 2 months are easily the worst, but
Yeah. And then
Oh.
it's just so much fun to just have like a companion like that with you too.
I actually want to get your thoughts on this. Have you heard about Jimmy Fallon and what is like going on with him?
Oh, so they discovered that he did blackface like
Yeah,
on
20 years ago.
on SNL or something 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
What are
hold
your
on.
thoughts?
I gotta
on
shut my
that?
door for a second.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So I don't know. There's a lot of people that have done blackface and then come out of it.
I
Like
feel like
Robert Downey
blackface-
Jr. did that in
Well, Robert Downey Jr. did it making fun of people
doing blackface, right? So it was
Like-
more like an ironic thing. Didn't the president
The Canadian Prime Minister did blackface.
and they love him.
And got
they love him there.
reelected. He got reelected. He did
And
it
he's
multiple
Democrat.
times.
He's Democrat. He's like a left-leaning politician,
I feel
I'm
like
pretty sure.
all of Canada is Democrat. I don't
right.
know. Canada's
And,
politics are.
Which is funny because like if it came out that like actually I don't know. If Joe Biden came out that that he did blackface,
He's screwed.
Honestly I think he might survive it. I don't know.
I don't think so. He gets a lot of hate.
True.
It all depends. Like Jimmy Fallon.
He's Obama's wingman, so I don't know. It's a weird dynamic with Joe Biden because a lot of things come out about Joe Biden and he just gets away with it. Like there was a whole rape scandal that came out like 2 months ago and no one talked about it on the news except for Fox, I think.
I saw a pretty good point with Jimmy Fallon. It's like he did it on SNL. Why are you going after Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah, right. Like Lorne
He was
Michaels
not the one
wrote
who
the skit,
wrote it.
proved
Exactly.
it.
Like Jimmy Fallon was just doing. He's like, oh, okay, I guess
He's
I
doing
gotta
his
be
job.
a black guy. Okay, all right,
Yeah,
sure.
that's interesting.
And then he probably laughed through it anyways, knowing Jimmy Fallon. That guy. The only good thing Jimmy Fallon does is impressions. He does great impressions, but
He's good at
other than that,
impressions.
holy smokes, he is. Just,
Jamie Foxx is really good at impressions.
I haven't seen Jamie Foxx do
Jamie,
impressions.
bro.
He's hilarious though.
He's good.
Jamie Foxx is so.
He's
funny.
super talented.
What was that show he was on? Or no, he wasn't. Oh, was he on? Yeah, he was. It was like Living in Color or something like that. He did it with the Wayans brothers, I think. I'll
Okay.
look that up. It was like him, Jim Carrey, the Wayans brothers. It was like a.
This sounds familiar.
It was like SNL. It was in the 90s. I need to find what it was called.
Jamie Foxx is so talented. You ever watch Django?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
He's good. In Living Color. That's what it's called.
It's like a skit-based show.
Yeah, it's like a black SNL is how I would describe it. Like Jamie Foxx was on it, and then for some reason, I don't know how Jim Carrey got on this show, but he did.
Sometimes you need the role of the white guy, man.
He was the token white guy, and he was Jim Carrey's pretty funny too.
No, Jim Carrey's awesome.
But yeah, Jimmy Fallon is just he's not that funny. Like I don't.
No, and there's not a lot of likable late night hosts, and there's a lot of like
No.
stuff that gets said about them. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of shit on Ellen recently that she's an asshole.
Ellen sucks.
I don't like Ellen either.
Ellen is the worst. She's such a dick to people. It's insane.
They said that like people will come to work, and if she smells bad breath, she'll tell them just to go home. Or she says, you have to be chewing gum while working with me or something like that. She has a weird policy.
Gotta have that Colgate.
Yeah.
Can't have these stinking breath. Come on.
Or if they smell bad, she'll
right.
send them home and tell them to go take a shower and come back the next day or something like that. Or
tight ship.
They said,
Jesus Christ.
They said with Letterman or something, I think. I think Ellen might have this rule too, but Letterman for sure. I think it was actually, I don't know if it was for sure, but there was this rumor that when he walked in the hallway, if you were in that hallway, you had to get out of that hallway so that he could not see you. Which is really weird.
Sick ego, dude.
I know.
Like, wow, you must be, oh, Jesus. You must be so above everybody else if they can't walk in the same hallway as you.
The argument was like, oh, like he's trying to get in his zone before he goes on, but it's like how
get out of his. You can still walk in the hallway. How skinny is the hallway?
I understand, like oh, just don't bother me like an hour before I go on or something. Like I'm trying to like like remember my monologue or what, like whatever. That's
Are
fine.
you crawling
But
through
get
vents
out of
or are
the
you
hallway.
walking in a hallway, dude? Like, how get wider hallways? Jesus Christ, dude. Are you really David Letterman or Ellen can't afford to push the walls out a little bit more? Like, well,
Move studios.
stay on the right. It's not
And,
that hard.
Ellen is doing her show from home, right? And the first day that she did it, she was like, "Oh, I feel like I'm in prison." And then she had like some joke because it was like because the people who live here are gay and like I'm all alone or something. I don't know. It was some weird thing. Like she made a joke, but she was like going on about like how she felt like, "Oh, this is horrible." Meanwhile, she's living in like a mansion.
Your $15 million mansion.
Yeah, it's like
you poor thing.
Get a grip.
You
Read the room, Ellen.
You poor thing. That must stink to have to stay in your rich house all day. You hate to see that.
Or Ellen. We should throw a GoFundMe for her.
Real salt of the earth woman, Ellen, having to sit in the house. It's just.
There were some weird clips of like I've seen YouTubers cover it, and they just like react to like Reddit stories that people have, and like just like clips of her just being an asshole on camera too. Like when Mariah Carey was rumored to be pregnant, she kept asking her and badgering her about it, and she was like, "Oh, like I don't want to." Like, "Oh, let's move on to something else, Ellen." And she goes, "Okay," and then she like snaps her fingers or like calls people out, and they bring in like these alcoholic beverages. I don't know if it was like wine or something. And they're like, "Why don't you drink it then? Why don't you show us you're not pregnant?" She's like, if you'll just drink it, then we know that you're not pregnant." And she wouldn't do it. And she was like
she might as well have just had a cake that just says "Congrats on the sex."
And she ended up like being pregnant, right? So she was like, "Oh, I'm not doing it," but she wouldn't admit it on the show. And then she ended up having a miscarriage later on. And it's like, that's probably why she didn't want to say it. Like, maybe there's a reason she hasn't publicly announced this yet.
Boy. You hate to see that.
Yeah.
Good job, Ellen. Way to be the worst.
And then there was some other celebrity that was on. Ellen wasn't invited to the birthday party or something. Or she was, but then Ellen goes, "Oh, you had a birthday party." I think it was Dakota Johnson, an actress.
Okay.
She's from like 50 Shades or something like that. She's in other stuff too. And they were like, Ellen goes, "Oh, you had a birthday party. Why wasn't I invited?" And she goes, "Oh,
because I don't like you."
You actually were invited." She goes, "Wait, what do you mean?" She's like, "Well, last time I had my birthday party, I didn't invite you. And you got really mad at me about it. So this time I made sure to invite you, and you just didn't come. So I don't know if the message wasn't just relayed or something like that." And she was like, "Oh, no, I don't think I was invited. You're just saying that." Something like that. And then she was like, "Well, why didn't you invite me the first time?" And she goes, "I didn't even know you liked me, Ellen."
I actually believe, Ellen, that she didn't invite her, and that Dakota Johnson was just like, "Yeah, I'm not inviting you." She was like, "Oh no, it got lost in the mail because you mail people invitations." In how long ago was this?
The way like her body language like tensed up, she like kept looking at the camera and stuff. Like it was weird. Like you could tell she was uncomfortable. And she goes, "Honestly, Ellen, I didn't even think that you really liked me like that. Like I didn't even think that you like."
Do all celebrities just like each other? Like,
I don't know.
Is that how that works?
Do you have to like Ellen? I mean, I feel like everyone who goes on Ellen usually, for the most part, acts like they love Ellen.
Yeah, they're probably.
But it's for the kids.
They're probably just doing it because those shows are all scripted, anyways. Like it's not like they know what questions are being asked. Like you can prepare for it. But like I mean, I haven't invited Ellen to any of my birthday parties. So have you ever invited Ellen? No. So if we ever have a birthday party, we have to remember to invite her. So that way, if we ever get famous and go on her terrible show,
we can tell her that we actually did invite her.
We invited her. You didn't show up. It's like, hey, you're bigger than my birthday party. And then we can. Well, that's a good one right there. We can invite her. Like, hey, you didn't like me when I wasn't famous, huh?
Yeah. You didn't invite me on the show when I didn't have this going on.
Yeah. When I had nothing, you kicked me like I was a peasant.
You didn't invite me and Patrick when we were doing Just Tucking Around episode 11. So
when we were getting 50 views on Spotify, you were not doing a damn thing. Kick rocks, Ellen.
All right. So moral of the story is we don't like Ellen. Also,
hate Ellen.
Don't be a Karen. I'm going to be the next Joe Rogan with a Spotify deal, and I will not ever sell my IP.
And sports are back.
Sports are back, baby.
Big way. Let's go.
All right, Patrick. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Looking forward to it.
Yep. See you soon. All right, bye. Bye, guys. Please like and subscribe. Peace.
Ooh, look at my diamonds, look at my drip, yeah. Ooh, I'm getting blessed, I feel like it's a dream, yeah.